my 4 pillars of stability are faith, integrity, strength, and mentorship.
Welcome to the Getting Better podcast. Thank you so much for joining us wherever you're at, wherever you're listening, wherever you're watching. You could be doing anything, but you chose to hang out with us, and we want to say thank you. We're all about growing and getting better. We don't want to stay the same. I just want to grow. I want to get better. I want to be better I want to be a better husband, better friend. I just want to be better in different ways. And as always, with my friend Gage. What's going on, man? How are you?
What's up, Gunner? I'm awesome. I'm excited. The balls are looking good. So that makes me excited, but even more so, I'm just excited to be here and get better.
Absolutely, man. And our guest today is one of my, I don't want to make him blush or anything, but he's one of my favorite people. I think he is outstanding. We're going to talk a little bit of health and fitness and discipline today with Mr. Tim Zupancic. I wish I could put a doctor in front of your name.
Yeah, me too.
Dr. Zupancic has a good ring with it. There's probably nobody that really checks that anymore, so we could probably
just put it in there.
Yeah, I'd put it in there. But Tim, to be honest with you, this conversation, we have this conversation, of course, away from microphones and stuff like that. But I think this is something I enjoy because it means a lot to me because you've had a big role in my life in this area. When I was 16, I wanted to get better at basketball, and the one way to get better at that was through my health and fitness, and it's just an area that there's probably a lot of people still this way. I just didn't know stuff, and you exposed me, and you taught me discipline. You taught me consistency with it, which I'm still learning today. But thank you for that, because there's a lot of things I wouldn't have known, and even just food and different things. You taught me a lot, and so I want to have some of those conversations today, and hopefully it can help me still and help others as well, whoever's listening. But as far as all that goes, as the health, have you always been, even since a kid, have you always been kind of fitness, activity, sports? I know you love
sports. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Well, first, just thanks to be here. I mean, I'm excited to be here, and it's a great opening. I'm kind of humbled, honored to be here and hear that. It does make me blush, but I appreciate that a lot. But yes, so kind of, I just was into everything. Played sports all the time. Wintertime, we're playing street football. Street hockey. Didn't make a difference. I always doing something. I always played different sports through high school. Did 3 sports until my sophomore year, just narrowed down to 2, then went to school. Thought I was going to be an engineer. And then I, of course, played football while I was there. I was basically a hitting dummy. So, which added to the multiple head injuries. So,
what school? Just so
the University at Buffalo.
Okay, so it's not a small school. No,
well, we weren't the MAC. We were at that time we were in 1AA, and it was kind of making that transition. But I thought I was going to be a quarterback, and no one told me I was 5 foot nothing. And even though I did well in high school, it was just another level. But so I was scout team, and I just got crushed all the time. And that kind of exposed me to the athletic training side of things. And so then I had a buddy that was doing an exercise science program, and he was telling me stuff we ate together, and it was like his stuff sounded a lot more exciting than me sitting in the room just doing engineering stuff, and math started getting crazy, and just thought that's something I'd like to do and be around athletics. I couldn't play anymore because I literally had so many head injuries. I just had a headache every day and couldn't see straight and that sort of stuff. Couldn't think. But so if I say a different name, I don't really mean that. I just forgot your name. That stuff happens. No, that's not that bad yet. But so that just got me into exercise science, and I did that. Started hustling, doing personal training stuff on the side all the way through school, just working at the gym and learning more. And I always worked out when back then, of course, we didn't have strength coaches like we have now. Like I was trying to be doing around here. Just our coaches try to do their best to. You worked in the off season, and then season you kind of quit, and then but we were a different season, so we're always doing something. But minimal, kind of typical, more bodybuilding type training. Once I got to school and learned more of the science of it, it got more developed and that sort of stuff. So I always, kind of did that, and just that's. It's always been around, been a part of me, being athletic, just that side of thing, which I think has kept the competitiveness going for everything, which leads to that.
Street football. That was one of the first things out of your mouth.
Yeah.
I couldn't get my mind off of it. So.
Well, that's because we'd play tackle. There wasn't touch. We just used tackle, and it was just in the pavement. Because I grew up, in city streets, just like then you'd be car. Everyone got to step to the side. They're just playing street hockey. Got to move the goals. Cars coming, right? So it's
awesome.
whatever was going on.
I imagine that got very, very, very physical and competitive. I imagine that was
almost
rough.
all the neighborhood games usually end up with me and my brother getting in a fight because he's my older brother, and just because of the competitiveness, it turned out we were fighting each other.
Same with me.
But yeah, that's whether it was football, basketball, hockey, just you name it, we played it in the streets, and the whole car, got to wait it out, and then in the wintertime when it was snowing, you kind of hop some cars in between to get a ride to wherever you wanted to go from the back.
That's awesome.
So why? Obviously, you love it. You've been doing it for almost 30 years. We just talked about before we started. But why is the health and the discipline and all that, why is that so important to you?
Well, I think just that, I think the exercise and the barbell itself teaches so many life lessons that are critical. That's why I love, I actually made an ebook, Lessons from the Barbell. But just the lessons, because the discipline, the hard work it takes, it all just helps everything else in life. It's the consistency. It's not something that you can pass down. You can't inherit it. You can't give it to somebody else. Everybody has to earn every aspect of their health. And their health is so critical. I see, where I'm more on the health side of things too. I mean, I still do performance stuff, but even with them, it's all about the health and being able to do more to optimize their life. Because I deal with it all day long. Hearing people and it's this and that. Everyone's, moods, I think, are really mostly related to how they feel about themselves because their health, because of the stuff they're putting in their body, their lack of energy because they can't physically do stuff. So it just makes a difference. And I say what I love about the barbell is that in order to get strong, you got to keep loading it. And you got to do it every day. It gets heavier and goes more, and everyone needs to be strong. It's all relative, of course, not saying everyone, but the stronger you are, I have old people we work with, and, their biggest problem is they can't bend down and get up anymore. It's that whole tail of the Sphinx where, what starts on, crawling and then goes up on 2 and back to 3 is people, because we start crawling, then we start standing up straight, then we're over on a cane and we're bent over again. So because we lose our strength, because we stop moving. So movement heals the body, and it's so important to stay in it. Like I say, but you got to work it every day. You can't, everybody exercise like brushing your teeth. You got to do it every day, even if it's just a little bit. You don't have to go do hours in the gym. It just takes a little bit to be successful and to keep on pushing just a little bit more every day. And that's the key. It's that consistency of it, and that helps business, helps life. When you're consistent, all those things they just follow a path of each other, I feel like.
It's so funny. When I was in high school, and of course I played basketball at Jellicoe, and coach was telling me, hey, we got this guy, he's an athletic trainer, he's gonna help you get stronger, help you get better, blah, blah, blah. And so a couple guys were going, and they got back, and I was asking about it, and they were telling me how intense and how much they were doing, and I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. But that's the first time I can remember hearing about you, Tim. But what I'm asking now, I heard you talking about older people and younger people. What's the age? Do you just do all kinds of age ranges?
I've started my weightlifting club. I have Mile of Strength weightlifting, and we start as early as 8 years old. Wow. And of course, everyone thinks that lifting now it's appropriate. We're learning PVC pipes. We're learning movement patterns, teaching kids how to move properly. That's the biggest thing, learn how to move. And sometimes that's kind of goes with my 80-year-old clientele. We're learning movement patterns again, getting strong. But the reality is I really train my athletes just like I do my elder folks. Because like I said, we tend to, athletes, as I tell everyone, training-wise, front side's for show, back side's for go. So if you're an athlete, you better be doing squats, cleans, all those things that work our backside of our body. That's the power. That's what everything's at. Front side just looks good.
But that's for you in the mirror.
Yeah, and literally that's the issue with older folks is most people. I love that. I can't even remember what the commercial's for, but one of my favorite commercials in Christmas time is there's that old man You see him, he goes out to the garage, he finds this old dusty kettlebell. He tries to pick it up and he can't. But every day he goes out there, right? Just goes back to that whole consistency and just being driven and just, right? And then next thing you know, he's kind of got a sweatsuit on. He's running the neighborhood, his daughter, and then they see him keep going to the garage, and then he's picking it up and picking it up. Well, Christmas time comes, and he picks his granddaughter up and sticks her up, so he put the angel on the tree. So his motivation was his granddaughter, and he got strong again so that he can pick her up. But it changed his life. He went from being this feeble old man to pep in his step. He had the drip going, wearing sweatsuits and stuff going, Changed everything for him just by every day picking up that kettlebell and trying to raise it up high.
And that touches back on what you said, the confidence that people have when they're healthier. And being able to, and a motivation for me, it too is, when Lauren was pregnant, I was like, I want to be mobile enough, because my flexibility issues in the hips and things like that. But like, I want to be mobile enough to be in the floor and roll around and play with my daughter. I want to have that. So I've been doing that kind of hip stuff and a little bit more at my house and things. But like, and you get more confident the better you get at stuff. And so I think, like you said, I think the confidence back in high school, the confidence you gave me and helped me with was more than just physical tools. It was mental, it was emotional. And absolutely. I think the health, people think, it's just you're strong. And it's like, yeah, you are strong. And that's a great benefit. But it's like the mental, the emotional part of just being healthy enough to go throughout your life and not have to worry about, like, am I going to be able to bend over and pick something up and different things like that. And I know some people have some deeper health issues, and I want to show plenty of grace for that.
Absolutely.
Everyone's different. You've had several hip replacements and things too, so you get that. But how that the confidence, I can't preach that enough for my experience of like how you feel. And that's about that guy in the commercials. Like, he probably, I don't know if he'd be able to sleep reaching a goal of being able to reach your granddaughter up like that. Yeah. How exciting that is. That's awesome.
That's what I try to get across to most people, my general clientele. It's about you, but really not. It's about what you can do it's like anything else. If I'm not healthy enough, if you're not healthy enough as a teacher, as a father, how can you support for anyone else? Yeah. How can you do all the things you want to do? You might have great aspirations and intentions, but you can't physically do it because you're tired, you're sick, you got ailments. I don't get sick. I'm just, I don't. I stay healthy, drink water, I don't get sick. I don't allow it. One, I don't speak it in, I speak it out, right?
Right.
That's part of it. It really is. And that goes, like I said, to confidence. And I really just feel, I'm a mental guy, like that. Your mind is everything, and that part of that is that, like, say, what you develop from being stronger. It's just a natural confidence. But when you put in the work, that's what makes you confident. Mm-hmm. It's not that you're stronger. It's you put in the work. It goes back to the process. Yeah. Like, it's the process that defines us, not the product.
Right.
So, like, that's what makes the confidence happen. It's that whole, and like, what you're trying to achieve. Like, as from my athletes, and yes, I can be pretty intense, but I have a soft side when I got some folks, right? There's a point for that all, right? It's all intentional because, that's just it. Everything's hard. Again, when you train hard, you learn that you're good at doing hard stuff, right? Because that's the hard part. When you realize you can do hard stuff, you're like, well, all right.
Yeah.
This is pretty cool.
I told you this story last time I was in the gym, which we will not mention when that was, but when I was there, we were talking about we were doing some lunges and different things, and I remember I think I was going into my first year of college, and we were doing some workouts in the morning with that group, and you made us do lunges, and I won't mention the weight, but it was heavy for me, and it was 60-pound dumbbells, and we had to lunge down and back in the turf room. It was literally in my mind, I cannot do this. Like, this is too, I was trying to do it. And everyone else did it because they were further along in their process. I don't want to say better, but they were further along in their process. And you literally took them and went to the other room to finish the workout. And it's like, you can't come up here until you get this done. But what that did for me is like, well, now I have to.
Just got it done.
And the confidence, I don't remember all the workouts from that summer, but I remember that moment, right? And the confidence that put into me because someone challenged me and took me to a different level than I wouldn't have made it without myself. And so when people talk about working out by yourself and things, it's like there is a difference.
Definitely different.
And like you said, that's just being able to overcome things and make it through things. And you can say that's just working out. Yeah, maybe, but like it carries. I believe it carries over, and I believe it has in my life too. Being getting through hard stuff.
I 100% agree with that. I mean, that's it's like I said, one, it's not working out, it's training. That's the difference what we do. Like, when you work out, you do the things you like. When you're training, there's a purpose and intentionality. Yeah, which goes along with everything else. You know, we talk about like we got to be intentional how we study the Bible. We got there's all the same principles apply to these things. That's the neat part. Like, again, goes back to what the barbell teaches you. It teaches you how to have that discipline. You don't always want to be there. I got to do it.
I love what you just said about that, Tim, and how you brought that in. Because you're using words like train, process, work, and all that takes discipline. And so as I'm thinking about this, it takes discipline for our physical bodies, but just as you just said, it takes discipline for our spiritual sense. I mean, too. So, is there a way that can be tied together? I mean, is there some principles you kind of touched on one? Is there principles that we can take from our physical discipline and apply it to our spiritual discipline?
Yeah, I think 100%. I think they go hand in hand. My dad used to always say, all trades are the same, don't matter what you're doing. He was a construction worker. The same principles, the principles apply. All right, that you got to work, you got to do this, those steps are there. You can't just go start laying brick. Right. You got to have a foundation. You got to do that, right? So that's the thing about principles. Principles, they're not ideas like the theory of gravity. The principle of gravity is there whether you believe it. You don't have to believe in a principle for a principle to be true. You can not believe in gravity, but when you step off the building, it's going to take over, whether you believe it or not.
Absolutely.
Right? So that's the things about principles. Just like, and some of those principles are in the Bible, right? They do coincide, like being strong, right? And like for me, I keep like my 4 pillars of stability, right? And I just kind of base everything off that. I try to. This is stuff I've developed over the years. I've not always been so graceful. I've been a little bit when I come out, but some of that is culture, how I was raised, and it's intense. Like this different times, you know what I mean? I survived, but my 4 pillars of stability are faith, integrity, strength, and mentorship. And by faith, it's not just believe in God, or it's faith for me. It's that number one, but it's also having faith in my programming. So when I'm training my teams, if they don't have faith in me and my coaching, and they don't have faith in the program, if they're not bought out, sold out to it, it's not going to work. Right. So they got to have faith in that program. And as you know, I tell everybody all the time, part of that faith is doing everything as you're doing for God. Right. So that's where my desire to win comes from. It's not a personal desire to win. It's a win to show. Now, I didn't always say that publicly mostly because I didn't feel like I was good enough to. I knew I had my faults. So I'm getting better at that, understanding that we all that. So, but that's some of my growth. But so it's not just faith in God, it's faith in the program, faith in my athletes. So when I put them out there, I say, hey, you can do this. I know. That's why I left him in the room. I knew he can do it. He didn't think he could. But how many coaches, that's what we do as coaches. We know what you can do, right? I'm not going to put anybody in any danger that I wouldn't do myself, right? But then integrity, of course, that's just doing everything right all the time, right? Just being like when no one's around, you're going to do the right thing, right? But in athletics is that when we're doing line drills, are you touching the line, right? Because are you cheating? Because all you're doing is cheating yourself and cheating the team.
Right.
Right. So when your teammates are out there, who are they going to want to be with? The guy that's cheating? Or the guy in a real scenario, life scenario, serious ones, think about Navy SEALs, stuff like that. Are they going to want someone that cheated their way through camp? Not when the life's on the line, because they're willing to do that just for a little Debbie cake. They're going to steal some little Debbie cake when you're out there. What are they going to do? You know what I mean? It's intense. So that you got to have that integrity, and that's all the time, and it doesn't matter, right? And then strength, of course, I'm not just talking about physical strength. That's the whole spiritual strength, be mentally strong, because things are tough. They don't always go our way. It's kind of, you've got to deal with that, and again, I'm not good on my verses and stuff like that, where they're at, but I know God gave us the armor. And saying, I'm about running away, right? Everything's in front side, because again, we're set for battle.
Right.
So it's not to be weak, it's to be strong. right? We got to be right and fair and loving and all that. But at the same time, we got to hold our ground. So it's all that and being strong. And then, of course, mentorship. I feel you got to give back, right? There's something to be said. I've been mentored, but it's also like even in my youth, I have them teach it when the kids get older. They've been through some of the training protocols, like our warm up and stuff for snatch or clean and jerk. I have the older kids. They got to teach, say, our warm up routine to the younger ones, because just like you guys know, you learn more when you're teaching than when you're actually the student. You learn so much more trying to teach somebody something. So it actually enhances you, even though you're trying to help. So even though what you're helping someone, which is what we want to do, help the next person. But it's this, so it's that. So those are my 4 pillars of stability, and I think that goes along with how strength, weight training, being fit can carry over to your faith. Because again, you got to have those things. You got to have the same discipline to wake up and say your prayers every morning, right? I mean, you got to have, the integrity to do the right thing, which is, when someone's, weight training, you're following your program. You do what coach said, or you're cheating up a few pounds because it's kind of heavy today. So, I think I'm just going to, cut that rep down a little bit, cut it out. Are you going to be strong mentally when things are tough? I mean, physical strength is easy. Honestly, it is. It's just, there's so many different ways you can do it. All programs work as long as you stick with it. Now there's some that could be more dialed in, but the reality is that's pretty simple. Picks heavy stuff up, set it down. I mean, really, it's that simple. Right? People just don't like picking heavy stuff up because it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right? Things hurt. That's the other bonus I like about weightlifting. Like, pain threshold of people that work out so much better than people that have never worked out, touch the weight. So when things get physically hard too in life, they can tolerate it. It's just, that's just or some kind of biased, I guess, but I've seen what it does in action, plus their body's strong. The stronger you keep your body, the less disease you're going to be able to, have. You'll be able to fight disease better when we got all those lean masses. But yeah, that's how I think these two worlds they mix. I mean, it's all one thing. It's the same.
That's an awesome answer. I mean, I don't know.
I don't rambled.
I don't think it could have been covered any better. I mean, that might be the best answer I've ever heard.
If we don't get anything else on this podcast,
seriously,
we'll just clip that.
Mic drop. That's what I'm thinking. Mic drop of that.
Put it on a shirt or something.
That's what I was thinking. Somebody print these principles out somewhere.
But and I think everyone has to develop their own pillars of stability. And it's 4 because 4's it's solid, right? You're not gonna have 1 or 2 or try. Just it's a good foundation. Everything's got to be built off that foundation. So
a couple things. One, the pillars thing. I've heard different people talking about organizations have visions or goals or their mission, vision, values, that sort of stuff. And that's kind of like you have mission, vision, values for your life and principles for your life that you're built on. And I've heard people doing that for their families and things. I think that's just a beautiful thing. And so that's kind of, that thought I've heard has spurred me, but that's I don't know if the words pillars just made it simple in my mind, but that's wonderful. But also, for me, and I think we've had this conversation. I know we've had this conversation, but when I am, as far as health and fitness goes, I think I'm honestly at my best spiritual and at my best health physical wise. And that's probably not true for everybody. And I don't want to put everybody in a bucket, but and what that ties to is just discipline for me.
I'll put them all in the bucket because of course I'm biased, but I do think, again, it's about what you're doing because again, everyone thinks health and fitness. I think they go to like this, it's all aesthetic. It's not about that.
No,
it's about being able to move, feeling good about because the whole endorphin factor and all those things, science that shows you just feel better. I mean, no one's ever regretted going to the gym, right? They all just, why didn't I? Okay. And I know it's hard but it doesn't have to be hard. People, because they get these images everyone's worried, they're going to go see Tim, right? No, it's not like that. Those people are there for a reason because they're told, I tell all my athletes this, when you're on with me, it's on because I have a reputation to keep. I'm very proud of. Yeah. So I can't fail. So that means you're not failing.
Right.
Because I win.
You don't, you don't, this is this is I don't want to, but they're a product of you. If someone's like, oh, he goes to Tim's, you want them to be like,
absolutely. I mean, it's a culture that I've created, and some might not like it, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
because some people just don't like winning, I guess. But and we're in a society. I'll say it. I don't care. I'm not politically correct. I apologize.
No, that's good.
But we've been okay with mediocre, and I can't stand mediocre.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I'm everything on these. Like you've seen, you're not allowed to say C word. Right. That's can't. For those that are wondering what that is. Right. That'll cost you. Right. Yeah. Can't. Right. Because we can do anything. Right. Again, the Bible tells us that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So we can do anything, and we were made to be awesome.
Yeah.
So why would we want to be anything less than that? Right. So that's where like you're not allowed to say that. Right. Come in right there when they, especially my athletes, when you walk through the doors, you better walk 2 steps faster than you always walk because we're ready. Right. And I can't stand slides because to me they're lazy shoes, and I know some people wear them, but that's just my thing. But then my athletes know that though. They'll come in wearing them, but they know they get out, but they better not have forgot their shoes. That's right. Because they'll be priced to pay. But that's a standard. Like, and I will not deviate just because it's okay for someone somewhere else. That's not what I'm doing, right? I'm trying to elevate things up here. Like everyone wants to be rewarded for expected behavior. No, you're supposed to show up on 15 minutes early. 15 minutes earlier on time, fine time. You're late for 15 minutes late, stay at the house because you're going to be in trouble. Right? I mean, like those are standards though, because I'm not okay with being mediocre and okay. No. And, you know, and we've gotten to a place where I feel like everyone's okay being okay.
Yeah.
No, I want to be awesome. Like we strive for excellence daily. Well, I'm never going to get there, but it's got to be your goal to try to shoot for that, you know, because that's where I feel like I said it personally, that's how we're praising, you know, giving God the glory by doing our best, no matter what it is. You know, I've tell my employees when they've worked for me, you know, and it shows like how you act shows because yeah, you might be cleaning a toilet or cleaning a machine. But if you're there going, I'm cleaning this toilet, the member's going to walk around like, oh, that poor, so that's all I can do is clean toilets, right? But now if you're there and you're like, you know, you're getting that thing, you're getting it good, right? You got everything right. They're like, their approach, they're going to look at you and be like, man, look at Gunner. He's going all out to make this stuff nice for us. It's a total different how people view your perspective because how you act. Are you moping around? Or are you walking with enthusiasm, right? You know, I just saw something say, when you walk in a room, walk in like you mean it because God put you there.
Yeah.
I love that because he did everywhere, no matter where we're at.
Yeah.
He put us there. And to be, you know, to do something.
And you're what you're doing is one, you talked about your coaching has a track record that speaks for itself.
Yeah, so absolutely.
And your brother works out.
Yeah, we have a lot of our guys do, and it does have a track record.
And so it has a track record. So if you want to be, and this is a plug, but it's not. I'm just explaining. Like, if you want to be successful at XYZ, if that's sports related or fitness, or if you want your body to be at the optimal state of and at the best state it can to win in whatever realm that is, you know what you have to do. And if you want to do it, it's there for you. But if you don't want to, that's all right, because a lot of people don't.
That's right. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah. And I think it's.
That's, well, I say that's one of the things, even from a training standpoint, a lot of times this regular person, you know, I always say, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being all in, 1, of course not, where are you? If you're not a 10, I don't want to work with you. Because I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
I only work with 10s. If you're not 100% committed, we got to figure out why, and let's get there first. Right? Because that's, you know, like, to me, I like my biggest, you know, goal, of course, I want to train athletes and that. Like, my goal with my athletes is really to leave an impact more than anything. And this, even from a business standpoint, my goal business-wise was not about, it started, of course, you try to make money, but, you know, everything changed for me when I quit chasing dollars from a business standpoint, you know, in health to just.
That'll preach a whole different message.
I know, but it got to where I just, you know, my goal is I just want to leave an imprint, an impact on people. Not really an imprint. I don't care what. So I want to impact people so they leave. Like, so I'm more concerned about how those athletes carry themselves afterward and what you're doing now than any sports accolades they get. trying to get them. And that's from those hard work. They're going to be known as workers. They're going to know that they can do whatever they want to do. They announce themselves when they come in a room. They're not just standing in the back somewhere getting, becoming victims.
And you've done that with me, but other people too. And I'm not going to name people just for, sake of their privacy, but you see it in other people engage.
Oh yeah. I'll name one. So you do have an impact on people, on your athletes, Tim. And one that comes to my mind, my brother, I got to commend you because, first of all, he thinks the world of you. But second of all, he invited Tim to his 8th grade night. Tim shows up front row, so you do have an impact, man. And that's, it's an awesome thing. And as somebody that gets to look on the outside in, it's awesome to get to see. And it's just a cool thing. Not only do you impact them, train them physically, but you have a positive impact too.
It's a whole, you're crafting people and you're moving them forward in, of course, health and fitness, but the confidence. I'm going to preach that over and over because that's the one thing for me. But the confidence, the maturity, the how do I get through hard stuff. It's a whole picture, and there's so many people you've impacted that way, and it's just so much more than lifting weights,
Yeah, I agree.
And it's so. I wish more people could see it, and not only that, but experience it. Because, like I've told you forever, whenever my kids are young, I'm like, if you're still doing it, I'm going to send them to you. It's because it's just what it did for me is I couldn't tell anybody enough of how good it is. But there's people on all different levels of the spectrum of health and fitness and things. And there's people who probably want to start somewhere, and it's tough. It's difficult for them. They don't know. They might not be connected to as many people in health. They might see stuff on Facebook or whatever. But if you're trying to encourage somebody, like maybe how to start or when to start, maybe somebody who they're very discouraged of where they're at right now. And that could be because of their confidence or mental. What would you, is there something you would say to try to encourage them to maybe get started?
I think first off, and it's hard, like I said, but in today's, that's one of the good things about all technologies. You can find access to something, whether it's me or somebody else on YouTube or something like that. Because like I said, everything works. You just got to stick to it. But first and foremost, one, just quit. Number one, just take ownership. Just tell yourself, again, it kind of goes back to, just submit. Yeah. Essentially, right? Just take ownership to it. Say, you know what? I'm going to stop making excuses, right? Because you don't need fancy equipment. You don't need a whole lot of time. You just start with 15 minutes a day, or 5 minutes a day, whatever everyone's fitness up. Some people, 5 minutes is going to be more than enough. They're going to be wore out. And that's not bad, nothing on them. That's just everyone starts somewhere. Yeah. Right. We're all somewhere, but it's so easy but what I would say would be just do it. And then I have a lot of my athletes sometimes, and then general people too, that deal with a lot of self-confidence issues. Start making a list. Every day I want you to write 3 things you've done great. 3. And for athletes, I'll say only one can be athletic. The other one had to be something in school, something at home, whatever. 3 things. And then every day, write down those 3 things. All right. And then at the end of the day, then the next morning, I want you to read those 3 things first thing in the morning. Right. Get up, say your prayers, and read those 3 things. This is what I did great yesterday. Then add to those 3. When you got a list of about 18, 21, now you've said 21 things of confidence the first thing in the morning to start your day out confident, right? Because we're in control, right? Again, one of the things, you got to control your controllables, right? 2 things we're always in control of that work for everything, no matter what you're doing, is your energy and your effort. You bring those 2 things every day, you're going to be all right, right? And we have total control of that. We cannot let anyone else control that. People say, I don't know. It's just if you talk it up, you got energy, right? No one needs to sleep. I know science shows it, but if you just tell yourself, I'm good, let's go, you can get it going, but those are 2 things you got control of. So control your controllables. If it's raining outside, what are you going to get upset for? It's raining, right?
Can't control it.
You can't control that. So those things don't matter, but just start and then, write those things down. So now we're starting our day being confident. And then of course, just do away with watching TV or news or anything because you're going to fill yourself with negativity right from the get go.
Right.
I mean, I don't watch the news. I don't at all. So I should know more about what's going on in the world, but I don't. I'm in my little.
Can't really control too much.
You can't control it.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
So
You're right.
why would you get frustrated?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know there's some political people that just love that stuff, and that's awesome. That's cool. That's not me, right? But you got to control your controllables. But but if that's something that's causing irritation to you, right? Stop. Right? Again, it's taking ownership for our own actions. There's no one else responsible. It's not so did this. It's not, we joked about that. It's not the fact my wife buys the bread, I don't have to eat it.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? I mean, I don't want it, I don't eat it. Right? Yeah. But I'll eat it. Just like that. I'm not that good. But you know what I mean? So it starts with taking ownership, but that's what I would tell the person. Write those things good down so you start developing these positive habits. Because that's all it is. And then do it every day. And never miss 2 days. Right? And then the whole, at the end of the day, be thankful. Like they say, start the great grateful, end the thankful, and you can't go wrong.
Absolutely.
Right? And then again, the intertwining of that becomes not just good stuff you did, good stuff God's blessed you with. Right? So now we're start taking our focus off the bad things. Right? When we go to bed, we're not just thinking for that, oh, I did my 15 minutes workout today. Oh, thank God for my job. Thank God for, that car swiping by me, it didn't hit me. Just little things, you know what I mean? So now we're just, just retraining our brain because we have to, because everything is about what you put in training and how you do that. And it's the consistency of it. Oh, we're going to have issues and moments, but you can't let those moments dominate you.
Right.
And that's the key for me. That would be my little tidbit to start writing stuff down.
I feel like those are so practical. I mean, that's such a that's such practical things that I think we can do to start. And everybody probably should do anyway for the encouraging and for the discipline, not just physically, but spiritually too. Right?
Yeah, it makes it steps, right? And that's what you want in life is just, hey, what are some steps? And the taking ownership and the positive things, being grateful can do so much for you. We could probably have a whole podcast on that one. But I think taking ownership for me is like stewardship, of like, and that's maybe a Bible word for some that don't know, but like God's given me only one body. He's given me only one life here on earth. And what am I going to do with it? How do I want to live? Do I want to be a negativity, or do I want to be, I don't want to live life not confident. How do I grow? How do I become better? And I guess that's what this podcast is about. But, how do I, going back to the body, is like, how do I maximize and be healthy enough where I'm able to serve others more? Where I'm able to play with my dog on the floor? Like, I want to steward what God's giving me. And that's exactly what I think, taking ownership of it, at least for me, that's my mindset of it, taking ownership so I can do it better.
Yeah, for sure. And then again, it goes all back to it's all about self-talk, mind, the mental. We have bad moments when we let our mental get us. And of course, we know that's Satan trying to get in there.
Absolutely.
Right. So
Definitely.
this gets in, but it's what you profess, you possess. It's so you got to speak it into existence. That's why I say I don't ever get sick. You know me, right? Have I ever really been sick?
No, I actually, I remember when I first started working out with you in high school, I asked, I think it might have been Timmy. I was like, does your dad ever get sick? He's like, nope. I was like, why? I was like, because you never canceled, because I would have to cancel every now and then because something come up or something happened. And you never canceled anything. And I was like, he never, he's always there. It's never goes away.
So just, yeah. It's like a hemorrhoid, just don't go away.
Yeah, just don't go away.
I'll go down a little bit, but I'm not going anywhere.
No.
Oh, that is awesome.
But yeah, I think those practical steps are very helpful. I think I can't get over just the coaching and developing people, because I think people think health and fitness is it's not just physical. It covers the whole grant. And I want that for people. If people are watching,
it's a lot more. And I mean, it's more than just, although, I mean, I'm thankful and blessed that my job, I've made a career out of doing something I love. I can't say I work. I don't think I've worked a day. I mean, and it's kind of funny because, sometimes I feel like bad Like, why should I feel bad? But I mean, literally but I'm not a rep counter, I don't count sets and reps. It's more than that. There's program, but like I said, it just, to some people on the outside, it might look like but you know what? I've made a good living. I've supported my family, and I'm blessed at that. Like, I can literally I work a lot of hours, don't get me wrong, that kind of stuff I've worked. It's not like, but I mean, I love it. It's just doing something fun. It's not, it could be, so I am grateful and blessed and thankful on that. But like, there is more I'd say all the time, bartenders, trainers, and Jesus, we hear it all, because you surprise people tell you.
Yeah.
So we're there for a lot more than just physical sport. We are there a lot of most, because there is something literally like this. There's studies about that. Like, when you're working closely with someone, the physical work and training and stuff, disclosure starts happening just because of the relationships you build.
Mm-hmm.
And there's, people just start feeling comfortable, and they'll just disclose, and you're really become a part of their lives, an integral part in some senses, that you're there for them, and I take that part every bit as serious as I do as programming for their health, their fitness side of things, I mean, it means a lot to me.
Yeah. And you've made such a difference doing it too. And I can talk about the college hour guys. Me and Tucker and Spencer were texting about some stuff the other day, trying to get everybody together and hang out and things. And the connections, it still brings us back, right? Yeah. We still want to, because of those times together. And we enjoyed them. It was awesome. But thank you for being here. Thanks for before we leave. Good, you got a question?
If so, you give us a lot of good things, Tim. If you could think one thing maybe right now that you're trying to get better at, what would it be?
Really just showing my grace, being who I think. I just talk about those old guys, the college hour. If you guys saw what I did now, you'd be like, what? They got away with that? Really just trying to be more, at the same time, maintaining my standard, but just trying to have a little more grace about that. It's just, and I guess loving.
Yeah.
That's something that's always been hard for me, especially like to verbally say. It's just the word I take very serious. So like, to throw it out like, I love you, man, kind of stuff. I don't even, I'm better at that, but that part of me, I guess, just softening up, I guess, not feeling weak, I guess, is really what it amounts to be. 'Cause just, I'm that grumpy old man, just thinks, it's like a weakness kind of deal, just no sign of weakness, nothing. My leg could be dangling off, but I'm going to tell you it hurts. I have had 2 hip surgeries and 3 shoulder repairs, but yeah. That's probably, I guess, my grace and my love, like outwardly. Just,
I'll be honest. I honestly really feel just through this 40 minutes or whatever that I learned a lot of good principles that I want to really try to do. I'm not going to, I'm going to try to do. Such great disciplines.
The pillars thing is fantastic, but anyone who knows you knows your love and grace side. I want you to know that.
Yeah.
And I've seen it, I've experienced it, but thank you so much. Like I said, all this is just having conversations with people we admire and the conversations we enjoy. So it's not a have to. Yeah. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you so much. And thank you as always, Gage.
Yeah, thank you. Tim, thank you.
Thank you for anyone who's joining and listening. Thanks for listening. It's been awesome. Before you leave, before you check off, please rate, review, like, subscribe, all that stuff. It helps the show. Also, share it with somebody, because I think this conversation, it's helped us. I think it can help others. We just want to get better. We want to grow, and we want you to do the same. Thank you, and keep on getting better.